Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Katannuko bhante sakkaya ditti na hoti iti. Dear venerable brother, Dhamma friends, we were discussing Punnama Sutta, which is available in the Khanda Sangyutta, where Buddha was residing at Migaramātupāsāda, built by Visakha, and while Buddha was dwelling there, it was a full moon Poya day, and they were residing outside. An incident was where one monk was asking a series of questions, some deep Vipassana related questions, and according to the commentary, it is because of he wanted to get some direct answers from the Buddha, some direct explanations from the Buddha which was beneficial to his students. That's why he is asking these questions. And the questions were related to the 5 clinging aggregates, and why they are called clinging aggregates, and what are they really, and what is the cause of them, and what is the diversity of them, and why the particular meaning, the aggregate, the khanda being given. So these are the ones actually we discussed yesterday. Particularly we related to the consciousness aggregate. So as we know, there are five clinging aggregates, and the Rupupadanakhanda, the form clinging aggregate, Vedanupadanakhanda, the feelings clinging aggregate, perceptions clinging aggregate, Sanyupadanakhanda, then Sankharupadanakhanda, the formations clinging aggregate, and then the Vinyanupadanakhanda, the consciousness clinging aggregate. Now our whole experience is possible to explain using these 5 aggregates. The problem is that we keep clinging to them. Mere manifestation of aggregates is not the issue, but we keep clinging to them. Chanda mulaka, so that chanda, the desire, the interest, our inclination, our attachment, grasping. So that is the real root, the problem. Now, the whole experience that we go through, therefore Buddha divides into these 5 clinging aggregates and asking us to look at it, try to understand it, experience it from a say Vipassana point of view. Not that you are trying to intellectually understand in the sense that you are superficially understanding all the different denominations, all the different terminologies, names, divisions, all the list. So that is one way of looking at it. That is mere gathering of knowledge. But rather, Satipatthana practice helps us to look at them more closely, more practically. So how are you feeling the form aggregate? How are you feeling? How are you understanding the feelings? So how you really feel it? So what happens when, say for example, when a pleasurable feeling is going through? So how mind get attached to it? How you feel kind of an interest to it? So what is your reaction to it? And what is the nature of the feeling? How it is arising, how it is changing, how it is passing away. Now these things are explained in the book anyway. Buddha has explained to us, but still we haven't experienced it, or we haven't directly understood it. So that is where we need to work out. So we need to develop fair amount of mindfulness, to develop some concentration, apply that mindful, concentrated attention to that feeling and see how it is behaving. Understand it, try to investigate it. And through that investigation, kind of unbiased investigation, then you may have some direct knowledge. So that direct knowledge is what we are promoting in the practice. Not that you are trying to impose anything, that telling it is impermanent, telling it is unsatisfactory, telling it is non-self. Rather, let it show that, let it teach that. So you are maintaining that kind of a distance, what you call the beginner's mind, not that feeling that you are as an kind of expert, Rather, you are ready to learn, so you are quite ready to accept whatever the way it is. And it is showing its true nature, and I am learning. So you are learning. Let the mind to learn. It is not actually I am learning it, rather you let the mind to learn it. So you give the opportunity to the mind to learn it. So the more the mind learn about the true nature, about various phenomena, then the previously available, unbeneficial type of tendencies may be abandoned, reduced, and now the mind starts working differently. The previous nature is keep holding things, attaching to things, and naming things, grasping things. But once you keep on showing the mind, okay, this is the true nature, look at it, understand it, investigate it, you know, you have seen it. So keep repeating that experience and keep repeating that learning cycle, then slowly mind will understand it. And it will naturally let it go rather than attracted to it or repulsive about it or simply grasping it. Now it is letting go. I mean, we don't need to force the mind to let it go. Rather, mind itself will start that letting go process. It's a very natural, healthy kind of a letting go. So this is a basic principle that we are looking forward, and we are paying further attention to the consciousness aggregate this month. And so when this monk asking, Konuko bhante hetuko pachayo viññānassa paññapanāya. So what is the cause for the consciousness aggregate to manifest? So upon what the consciousness aggregate manifest? Then Buddha answers, Nāma-rūpaṃ hetu nāma-rūpa pachayo viññānassa paññapanāya. So Nāma-rūpa, the name and form is the cause, that is the reason for the consciousness aggregate to establish. So how to understand that? Now say for example, yesterday you have participated in a party. Some of you are here, by the way. Assume that you participated to a party and you enjoyed that, your friends were there and, talking to each other and having little fun and all that. After a long time, really fantastic event. You enjoyed that. The scene is done. Okay, now you come back home today. While you are spending some time, now some thoughts related to that event, some feelings related to that event, certain images related to that event can come to your mind, isn't it? Because you have enjoyed that, you are fully engaged in it, and as a result of that, certain thoughts related to that, images related to that, certain feelings that you again feel uplifted or again feel joyful. So all that might come to your mind. That all indicate the name and form operating within the mind now. Suppose that you were able to maintain the mind empty after coming back, just to keep the things more clear. Suppose now the mind is equanimous, empty, nothing is there. But once that memory being activated in the mind, now the mind being occupied. Images are coming about that past event. Thoughts are again initiated about that past event. Certain feelings are arising in the mind related to that past event. Now these are the actually mental factors now keep popping up in the mind. And that images, whatever the, visuals related to that event, those are actually the perceptions taken from that physical aspect. So therefore the name and form has some information, name part. Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Passa, Manasikara. So these are the 5 ingredient factors in the name part. Vedana. Particular to that event, you have a certain feeling, the Vedana. Maybe it's a pleasurable feeling. Fine. Vedana is there. Vedana, Sanya. Certain perceptions, certain signs that you can remember who was there and you can remember how you were dancing and all that enjoyment. Certain images are popping up in the mind. Now the mind is occupied. So those are the perceptions, those are the images, mental images. That is the Sanya part. Vedana, Sanya, Chetana. Probably you want to participate, you're going to organize another event, or you are again reliving that event. You can do that, right? So the event is finished, but you can relive that past event. You are enjoying that. So that is actually certain amount of chetana. So you can relive in it. So you are again enjoying, again thinking, again various thoughts are popping up. Probably it might sort of wanting you to organize another event maybe next year. So you being the chief organizer. So likewise the chetana part is also initiated now. Sanya, chetana, passa. Now passa. Now here at the very subtle level, the contact is where the mind is in contact with these mental objects. Various mental objects are coming to the field of consciousness and you are in contact with that. Assume that previously it was empty, nothing was there, but now again your mind is in contact with these different little mental objects. Passa, manasikara, your attention is now drawn to that. Assume that you are simply looking at the outside, nothing was there in your mind, just empty, but now your attention is drawn to that previous visualization, that memory, again your attention is drawn to that. So what is the rupa then? Nama, rupa. Rupa part? So rupa part is actually during that event there was some physical information, some physicality involved, that your body is there, their bodies are there, that maybe drinks are there, the soft drinks were there, and all that things were there. And those are the physical things. From that event, from that incident, you have picked certain visuals, certain images, and that images are now occupied in the mind, so that from the form aggregate, you have picked certain signs of that form aggregate. So that is the rupa. Actually, rupa there is rupa sanya. Nama rupa, the rupa part, when we are talking name and form and the consciousness, the form part is actually the sign of the form. There is some physical engagement, physical objects, physical forms, but when you are remembering it, you have taken certain extracts from that physical event and now it is being shown in the mind. Name and form. Now where it is being shown, where it is being reflected, on your consciousness. So if you can remember the yesterday's simile, now if you go back to the simile, probably you can remember that we were watching the movie, right? We were watching some beautiful, exciting movie yesterday. Can you remember? So in that movie, while we were watching that beautiful, exciting, that kind of event, so the reflection happened at the screen. The screen part is necessary. Screen is necessary. And again, the projection happened from the projector. That is the kind of the incident, or episode maybe, kind of an episode. So the episode is very much like the name and form. Screen is very much like the consciousness. So our consciousness reflects the name and form. So name and form is very much like reflected in the consciousness, and now consciousness is very much like trapped in the name and form. Because we are attached to the name and form. We keep attracted to the name and form. We like that name and form. We give some marks to that. We add some value to it. We enjoy that. We attract it. We are attached to it. So the consciousness gets trapped in the name and form. Now you are completely in the episode. Like while we are enjoying that movie, when the episode is really dramatic, really fantastic, really beautiful, then you are fully there, fully trapped in there, fully deluded there. Same thing as in the mind. So name and form, when it becomes really colorful, really, beautiful, attractive, so you get trapped in it. Consciousness is trapped in the name and form. Consciousness is well established in the name and form. Now, this is what we call the conditioned consciousness. Consciousness is conditioned. abhisankata viññāna. In Pali it's called abhisankata viññāna. So you are fully conditioned consciousness. Further conditioned consciousness. So previously it's very much like kind of a pure consciousness. Say if you are a Vipassana practitioner, probably you have tasted some time to time, there's nothing in the mind. There is no place that your mind is landed upon. No images in the mind. No thoughts in the mind. And your mind is free. So where is your consciousness? Okay, I'll give you an interesting simile that Buddha is giving to the monks. So one time, Buddha asking a series of questions from the monks. So he's asking, okay, now there is a tall building. It has 4 walls. Each wall has a window. In the morning, from which direction the sun rises? East direction. And now the Buddha is asking the question, okay, where are the sun rays being landed upon? Which wall? West wall, right? Correct? Am I correct? Because it's coming from the eastern, the window, and it is now being landed on the wall of the west, right? The west wall. Now, that is the answer the monks were giving. Now, Buddha is asking a different question. Suppose there is no west wall. Where that rays coming from the window of the east wall landing? If there is no wall, land. Okay, no wall, but it has to land, right? Land is there. It will land upon the wall. Sorry, on the ground. You have seen sometimes here a little hole is there, it will land upon the the ground. Similarly, so since there is no wall, it will land upon the ground. Now Buddha is asking another interesting question. If there is no ground, if there is no ground, no wall, no ground. Now interestingly, monks answering, it will land upon the water. Very beautiful. Now, might have heard that all this, this plate, earth plate, is very much like resting on water. So some scientific knowledge were there. So monks were answering, okay, Bhante, if the ground was not there, it will land upon water. Now the interesting question. If there is no water, where is it going to land? Then the monks say, Bhante, it will not establish. It will be unestablished. Rays will come, but no place to establish. So similarly, Buddha say, if there is no name and form, the consciousness will not establish at any place. Does that mean you are unconscious? No, you are conscious. You are conscious, but there is no place to establish, no object to establish. You are fully aware. So that is why it is called unestablished consciousness. Appatittita viññāna. So unestablished consciousness. So it is a possibility. So that's why if the name and form is not operating, if the name and form is deleted, if you have no desire to the name and form, if you are not promoting the name and form, it will be solely wiped out from the mind. Mind become empty, nothing is there. So still you are conscious, but consciousness is not landed upon anything. That means that distinct consciousness is not there. You know the distinct consciousness? That typical normal consciousness every time has to land upon something. You have to select an object. You have to distinctly know something. So you are now seeing someone. Okay, so that's a typical jargon. So I see my son. I see my daughter. So for you, there is someone, there is somebody, there is something. So that is the typical, normal, distinct consciousness where it is landed upon something. But now, nothing is there. Nothing is there to land it. So that is why it is called unestablished consciousness. So by that time, what is visualized in the mind? Nothing. That is why it is called anidassana viññāna, where nothing is visualized. No drawings, no images, no pictures, no episodes, nothing is there. Just the mere clarity, pure clarity, kind of pure consciousness. That's why it is called anidassana viññāna. So the Vipassana actually leads us towards that. So the mind become unestablished, mind become unmanifested. So the anidassana typically translated as unmanifested. So nothing is shown in the screen, very much like. So it may not happen automatically, but it will happen because of the light of the wisdom. Now that is why we can connect now with the simile. So while we were watching that movie, while we were fully, engaged in that episode, once the doors and windows were fully open, what happened to the screen? So we were enjoying the movie, we were fully in that episode, we were in a story, not here right now, but in a particular place, we were born into a new incident. But once the doors and closed were open, so the screen become more lighter, more, illuminated. It is far from the rays coming from the projector, right? So those are the very powerful sun rays. It has wiped out the episode. It has wiped out that, colorful image projected onto the screen. Now it's blurred. What you see is the mere screen now. Nothing is there. Just pure screen is there, white screen is there, nothing is there. So same thing happened to the Vipassana yogi. So as a result of the light of wisdom, instead of the light of the, in the simile you get the light coming from the sun rays. Now here at the consciousness level, at the mind level, because of the power of the wisdom, the name and form is wiped out. You are no more attracted to it. You are no more desiring it. It is taken out. Now it is just pure consciousness. Nothing is there. Nothing is shown there. You simply see the purity. That's it. So we need to understand what's really going on. I mean, there are very beautiful verses related to that. You can refer to this in Dīganikāya Kevadda Sutta. Viññānaṁ anidassanam anantaṁ sabbato pabhaṁ yatta āpoca patavi tejo vāyo nagādati yatta dīgañca rassañca anuntūlaṁ subhāsubhaṁ yatta nāmañca rūpañca asesaṁ uparujjati. So Buddha says, nāmañca rūpañca asesaṁ uparujjati. Name and form will be wiped out without any remainder while you are in this anidassana viññāna. So very, very beautifully mentioned that. So we'll get into that maybe later. Anyway, with that kind of an understanding, now we can come back to the lesson or maybe to the sutta back. So he's asking another question. So how katannuko bhante sakkaya ditti hoti iti? How the sakkaya ditti happens with respect to the consciousness aggregate. Viññānaṁ attato samanupassati. Now Buddha is talking about the typical mundane worlding. Ida bhikkhu asutava putujjano Aryanang adassāvi Arya dhammassa akovido Arya dhamme avinito Sappurisanang adassāvi Sappurisa dhammassa akovido Sappurisa dhamme avinito. That means the typical, the world being. He has never heard about the Dhamma. He has never heard about the Sangha or the good people, true people. He has never tasted the Dhamma. So he is simply Viññānaṁ attato samanupassati. So Viññānaṁ attato samanupassati. So that means, say for example, you see your son. Say for example, this is an old example I am giving. Suppose that you are having your, a good son, So you are going to pick him from the school. So you are waiting there, anxiously waiting till your beloved son is coming. And now the bell rings, and then the children coming out. And now somehow your son come in front of you. Ah, my son. So you, not that son, the little son. So you embraced your son. So you are fully in it, right? My son. So it happens at first. You see your son, right? For you, here I am, here my son. So this is my son. So this is the typical experience that we encounter. For you, there is a son. What you meet is the son or daughter. So I am here, my daughter is there. I am here, my son is there. So this is the typical way that we recognize. Now, my son is there, right? Not son, my son is there. Assume that's a scenario where you are waiting, all the other children came, but not your son. What happened to you? So you feel anxious, right? You feel a little panicked. So everybody came, my son's friends have come, all those, that grade, say your son is in 3rd grade, all the 3rd grade children came out, but my son is not there. So you feel a little anxious and you feel a little worried. And maybe later, immediately he appeared. Now more, unlike the previous very subtle, gentle kind of recognition, you feel more embraced about it. You feel more excited about it. So the presence of I factor is more strengthened. So, here you are. So I was waiting for you. Where you are? So you are, really excited. So this is why, rather than mere experiencing, now you are more excitedly experiencing something. So the I factor is more multiplied, more strengthened. And you are worried, you are waiting, and you are, kind of anxiously waiting, impatient about to see your son. And now you encounter him, now you embrace him. So the I factor is more strengthened. Now, if we look at the experience anyway, seeing has generated someone outside, someone here. So the activity, if we simply take out the activities, the seeing is something now belongs to you, and something has made to prepare a self even here and even outside. This is my son there, I am here. I am here waiting, now my son is appearing. Oh, my darling. So he is there. So likewise, so this seeing is not taken as mere seeing. It is not mere seeing. Is it mere seeing? No. You are fully there. You are fully engaged in it. Your attention is fully there. Your attention full landed upon him. And your love coming out. So your presence is well known. Your presence is well felt. It is not mere seeing. Now say for example, you are watching the breath. So it's now breath, breath, hulang. So just breath. So you are simply watching air again and again, in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath. And it's, kind of a distance observation, right? Distance observation. It's also becoming softer and softer, subtler and subtler. Do you feel I? Very less. Mere observation. Suppose, the experience is a mere experience. I factor is very, very minimal. You can't feel strong presence of an ego. You can't feel strong presence of I. A mere experience is there. Mere observation is there. If you compare that experience with the experience that I have explained to you, how you are anxiously waiting for your son, and once he appeared, what happened to you? So your attention is fully landed upon him. So your presence is well felt. So you are joyful, you are overjoyed by seeing him. Now the presence of I is very, very evident like. So the Sakkaya Ditthi is either here or there. Particularly happened through the activity of seeing. Seeing is the activity, but we have gone beyond that. Seeing has taken to the level, okay, either I am seeing. So we interpret as, I saw my son. Oh, here you are. I saw the incident. I am the witness. So there is a witness. I am the witness. So immediate recognition of that witnessing part, forgetting that it's a mere activity, mere transaction. So we introduce a person into the transaction. We introduce a person into the picture. So I am the one seeing. I am seeing my son. So that actually we can even take to the, say, form aggregate. But if we take it to the consciousness aggregate, there is a person who is seeing. So I am the one seeing. Rather than keeping it mere seeing, okay, I am seeing. I am hearing. I am smelling. I am tasting. I am touching. I am thinking. So all these typical activities, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching and thinking, cognizing, we attribute a person. I am the one seeing, I am the one hearing, I am the one smelling, tasting, touching, thinking. I think. This is how we think. So typically if we simply see something or hear something, not much of a presence of I, you are merely going through it. But as I explained the example, so when you are anxiously, impatiently looking at someone, you are fully in it. So the presence of I is pretty strong. The Sakkaya Ditthi is pretty strong. So sometimes you can say, okay, you can have a relationship to this seeing rather than saying, I am seeing, okay, this is my sight or this is my visualization or this is my, say, fantasization, whatever. So even to the seeing, you can claim it as my mind. Even the hearing, you can claim, oh, this is my hearing or something like that. That is where the second level, viññāna vantang va attānaṁ. So there is a possessive, a belonging towards the seeing, towards the hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking. Either you say, okay, these are my thoughts, these are my visuals, these are my sights, my songs or whatever. So likewise, so related to that activity with many different ways, with many different forms, we can introduce an I factor. We can introduce a person into it. So what is the opposite? So this monk is again asking, Katankuno bhante Sakkaya Ditthi nahotiti. So how this Sakkaya Ditthi can be abandoned, how it is not available then? So then Buddha answers like this. Ida bhikkhu sutava arya sāvako aryanang dassāvi arya dhammassu kovido arya dhamme suvinito sappurisanam dassāvi sappurisa dhammassu kovido sappurisa dhamme suvinito na viññānaṁ attato samanupassati. So this is a trained person now. He has associated the Dhamma, he has associated the true people, he is trying to train himself, trying to understand, he has going through some practice. Now when seeing happens, so he merely see it. When hearing happens, he merely hear it. When smelling, tasting, touching happens, he merely see, or rather smell, taste, touch. When thoughts are coming, it's mere thoughts. Ditte dittamattam bhavissati, sute sutamattam bhavissati, mute mutamattam bhavissati, viññāte viññātamattam bhavissati. Ditte dittamattam bhavissati. So you see still, but you haven't made a self out of seeing. You are keeping your mind to mere seeing. You're not fabricating into that. You're not adding into that. Mere seeing is there. You are hearing. So you are listening to Dhamma. You are merely hearing it. Merely listening to it. Not that I am listening. So mere listening. Your mind is not landed upon anything. Your consciousness is fully not involved in anything. Rather, it's mere listening, a soft listening, gentle kind of a listening, mere listening. Then tasting same, smelling same, tangible same. Thoughts are coming, so who bothers? Let them go. So you are merely knowing it. So then Buddha say, okay, if you are able to practice like that, in the Bahya Sutta, if you are able to restrain yourself like that, then neva ida na hurang na ubhemantare. So you are not there, you are not making a self there, you are not making a self here, not in between. That's the end of suffering. Now you can see how we create a self there. My son, right? So if the son is mine, that means you are inherently saying, okay, I am here. He belonged to me, that's why my son, right? When you feel my son, that means I am here. You got the point, right? So you already created a person there, so I is there. Presence of I is somewhere. So, or else you can see, I am the one seen, I am the one, saw that incident. Say, for example, you are being summoned to a court case or something like that as the witness. So how are you answering? Yes, I was there. Only I was there. Some strong presence of I. So I was there. Right? So you are taking that I part to here, saying, I am the one saw it. I am the one heard it. So you are making a self here. Either there, either here, or in between. Anyway, so that is how we use these experiences, either seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, to create a self, to prepare a self. But how to abandon it? Say, when you are seeing, okay, if your mind is not landed upon there, assume that actually you can't simply logically do it. You need to practice. That's why the meditation is utterly important. You can't merely think and do it. By measuring it, okay, if I little bit go there, okay, then I land upon there. If I not do it there, then I'll be distracted. You can't do it. That's why we need some sort of a practice. Say, assume that you are practicing Anapanasati, for example. How are you finding out the correct measure? So, how strong you need to pay attention to know in breath? How strong you need to pay attention to know out breath? How you know that? Through your own practice, right? Kind of a trial and error. See, sometimes people pay too much attention. They try to purposely breathe, controlled breathing. So that is your participation is too much. You are putting yourself there. So I want to get enlightened. I want to get, concentration. I want to get first jhana. Strong I factor. And so you are strong, you're breathing very hard or something. Forceful breathing. Your participation, unnecessary participation. Unnecessary, you are interrupting the process. Suppose you are not paying enough attention, what happened next? Falling asleep, you've been distracted. So how to maintain the proper balance? Not too much involvement and not being distracted and not falling asleep. So maintaining that balance is a kind of an art. So that's the mindfulness. That's why from the beginning, so it is there is in breath, there is out breath. You are looking at it objectively. It is not I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Rather, let the body breathe naturally. Let it care by itself. So you being an outsider, just watch it. Mere watching. Mere observer. So you are learning from the beginning. The more you practice, more you learn this art. How to do it. Not to interrupt the process. And not to being distracted either. And now you are doing the process beautifully. Okay, assume that you succeeded. Just for simple explanation, let me take the feelings. Okay, typically, say pleasurable feeling. You immediately attracted to that, you want it, I like it, you're being elated by that. So when you are going through a pleasurable feeling. A painful feeling, I want to get rid of it. So that's a typical approach. But if you know the practice, okay, painful feeling, okay, I can be with it, I can cope up with it. Okay, yeah, not that, even though the pain is there, you are not suffering. Your mind is not suffering. Pain is there, yes, but you are observing it. Say, pleasurable feeling is there. You are not attracted, but rather you maintain the distance. You can watch it as a mere feeling. Feeling also the same. Like you watch the breathing, now you are watching the feelings, not being attracted or repulsed, rather you are observing it. And if you know the balance, then you can do that. And interestingly, as you know it more and more, investigate it more and more, it becomes, say, for you it will be more impermanent, more unsatisfactory, more non-self, and that helps the mind to completely, abandon it, let it go, and now the mind get released. So when the mind is released, so no I is there at all. For the I to be there, grasping is a must. The I factor to be there, sakkaya ditthi to be there, your strong presence to be there, grasping is a must. Upadana is a must. Upadana paccaya bhav. Remember the formula, right? Upadana paccaya bhav. Or upadayatiko auso ananda asmiti hoti no anupadaya. So Venerable Punnama Putta teaches to Ananda, upadayatiko ananda asmiti hoti no anupadaya. Ananda, the feeling of I, the presence of self only happens when grasping is there. So the practice helps us not to grasp things. Okay, you keep the mind ungrasped level, unattached. So just release mind, free mind. So now you can practice ditte dittamatta. Now you can even look at here and there, but mind is not landed upon anything. Still seeing is there. Mere seeing. You can hear things, but not landed upon the sound or the song or anything. Rather, mere hearing, mere listening. Smelling, tasting, touching, same. Mute mutamatta. And thoughts are also coming and going, and you are unattracted. You are not bothered. The clarity of mind remain intact. Viññāte viññātamatta. So actually that's why we need a fair amount of practice to come to this. I can explain to you, you need to practice and experience it. You can't do it by mere logical thinking. You can't do it by mere reasoning, because it's a mind training. We can't simply know it and do it. Rather, you need some hands-on experience. So that's why we keep on practicing, so that the mind will learn the art. And then it is not you make the mind to avoid any attraction or repulsion, just to maintain that balance. Mind will take care of that. We don't need to interfere. So that's the beauty. That's why Buddha say, you don't even need to have any intention telling, okay, may I have dispassion, may I have, viraga, nibbida, may I have the disenchantment. You don't need to even wish for that. It will take care of by the practice. That's the result of the practice. So if you have the true understanding of the nature of the phenomena, how impermanent they are, how unsatisfactory they are, how non-governable, non-self they are, mind will take care of letting go, natural letting go. You don't need to force the mind to do it. You can look at the Na Cetana Karaniya Sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya. So Buddha very beautifully mentioned there, you don't need to have even an intention. Just do the practice and mind will naturally let it go. So that the mind is released. So mere seeing is there. Mere hearing is there. Mere tasting, smelling, touching is there. Mere say cognition is there, but there is no I. There is no self, mere experience. Here we can say you are now not promoting any Sakkaya Ditthi. There is no any self, there is no any strong ego, there is no any presence of I. Experience is there. You are going through the experience. So very beautiful, I mean. So how Buddha has taken to another level of our experience. So typically we are very much like engrossed, engaged, tackled or shackled, but now completely decoupled. So mind is very much like decoupled. Experience is there, but you are not interfering. Mind your own business. You ask your mind to mind its own business. That's it. Okay, with that request to mind your own business, so I will wind up today's Dhamma sermon. Thank you very much for attentive listening. Okay, there's a short sharing of merits. Today the breakfast dana was offered by Geeta Gunatilaka. As she has fallen sick, she could not join the retreat. May the merits accrued be helpful for her to have good health and be strong to practice the Dhamma path. Okay, with that wish, I like to invite Venerable Dhammalankara to conduct the sharing of merits.